We're at the biblical town and event of Kursi, which is in the Gospel of Mark chapter 5, and also in Luke chapter 8. This is the scene of Christ delivering the man that was demonized by the legion of demons. And this is what it says in Luke 8 and verse 26. Then they sailed to the country of the Gadarenes, which is opposite Galilee. We're actually on the other side of the Sea of Galilee from Capernaum. This is where also in the Bible, when it talks about the prodigal son that went to a far country, and if you remember what the prodigal son did, he earned a living feeding pigs. This is a pig swine herding area of the Decapolis. It was a pagan area. It was nothing to do with Israel. It was where they went to be away from Judaism and the rules in Israel. If you wanted to go to have a party, you would come over to this side. And so over here on the far side, on the pagan side of the Sea of Galilee, Jesus took his disciples in chapter 8 of Luke's Gospel. They went from all of the Judaism and the Pharisees and the scribes and Sadducees on that side to the wild country on this side. And as they were sailing, they stepped out of the boat and there met them a certain man from the city who had demons for a long time. That's our lesson. We're studying the life of Christ. We're looking at who Jesus is. We can tell who Jesus is by examining what he did in each of these cities. He revealed who he was by his miracles. In this instance, right here in Kursi, and behind me you see the cliff where this event happened. Imagine 2,000 pigs behind me grazing on the hillside. As they're up there with their other pigs rooting around, laying in the sun, this man, filled with a legion, which is 6,000 demons, came down to meet Jesus at the boat. Can you imagine the disciples? I mean, they had left the comforts of Galilee. They came across in a storm, if you remember, scared to death they were going to sink. Jesus calms the storm, but it's almost like they went out of the frying pan into the fire because this demonized man comes right to the shore, and it says that he cried out, and after running toward them from the tombs, it says he wore no clothes and he did not live in a house. And it says in verse 29 that he was often kept under guard, bound with chains and shackles, and he could break them, and he would run screeching off, cutting himself into the tombs. That was a horrible scene for the disciples. They wanted to get back in the boat and go home. Jesus wanted to show them he has the power to transform anyone. Can you imagine someone in more desperate condition than a naked, demon-possessed man cutting his body, bleeding, wearing no clothes, having dangling from his wrists chains that he had broken off, and that man comes running from a graveyard and screeching comes running toward the disciples? I know personally I would have gotten back in the boat, but Jesus said, I want to show you the power that I offer to you, the resurrection power of Jesus Christ. And so Jesus asked this troubled man, this demonized man, he said, what is your name? And he said in verse 30, Legion, because many demons had indwelt him. And immediately they, that's the demons, begged Jesus that he would not command them to go into the abyss. They knew who Jesus was. They knew he was the Lord of heaven and earth. They knew he could command them to go and be imprisoned. And they said, don't do that. And so this man knelt down and with a loud voice said to Jesus in verse 28, what have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Did you know that's one of the greatest confessions of the Gospels? This demonized man knew who Jesus was. It's interesting. The religious leaders hated Christ, denied who he was. The common people speculated, but those from the spirit world, those immortal beings, those powerful angel beings, always knew who Jesus was. And so Jesus commanded them to come out of the man. and a herd of many swine was feeding there on the mountain. Do you see the mountain behind me? So the demons begged Jesus that he would permit them to enter the swine, and Jesus permitted them. And the demons went out of the man, entered the swine, and the herd ran violently down the steep place into the lake and were drowned. Can you imagine the sound and the amazing sight of seeing 2,000 pigs running violently down that hillside and just going straight into the Sea of Galilee? And it says those who fed them saw what had happened, and they fled and told everyone in the city and in the country. So Jesus stayed, and this man needed teaching. He needed to know who Jesus was, and Jesus began instructing him. Some of the other disciples must have had extra provisions with him, because when the crowd comes, this man is clothed. Someone gave away their clothes, their extra clothes, to this man. And when all the townspeople made it, in verse 35, they found him from whom the demons had departed, sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind. And they were afraid. Jesus has amazing power. Jesus can transform anyone. There is no one beyond his power to transform. No one is too bad, too entrenched or enslaved by demons or sin or occultic practices or evil or wickedness. Jesus can transform anyone. Luke chapter 8 tells us Jesus holds our destiny in his hands. All we have to do is come and cry out to him and come to his feet like this demonized man. And there he was, looking up at Jesus, sitting at his feet, learning about the God of heaven and earth. That must have been amazing. It must have been amazing to see. It must have been amazing to sit at Jesus' feet for that moment and have him teach that brand new believer. Don't you think sometimes, wow, I wish I could have been there? Do you know what's amazing? You have that privilege every morning. Did you know every morning you can open this book and sit at the feet of Jesus, and he can transform your life? He's transforming mine. He can transform yours. This site of Kursi, what a blessing. The power of Jesus. What can he do? He can transform anyone. Just cry out to him, like that man did. In all of his disability, he came to the one who was able, and Jesus transformed him. Let's let Jesus loose into our lives to transform us today.